from this angle. And it's truly not, but it is based off of Japanese architecture. Now, obviously, in Japan, about the era that these would have been built, or something similar, you notice the raised platforms, the garden around the exterior, and you see those poles coming up attached to the beams in the roof. Now, of course, this is all made with pretty well modern lumber, but the poles themselves, the columns, barked trees. Now, this is made elevated like this for a reason. In Japan, there would have been a rainy season. Of course, during the rainy season, there would be periods of time where even the floor would be covered. Japanese houses are designed based off of something called the tatami mat. Now, the tatami mat is approximately the amount of space that it takes for one person to sleep. If you go looking at ancient Japanese architecture, of course, this is obviously modeled thereafter. Same elements, new building. Same elements, new building. But you notice, in a Japanese structure, if this is inside of a castle, which is what these structures would have been in primarily, the retaining wall would be probably about where that where the on-ramp goes to the interstate, right there. It would be a rather large structure, and they would start with a hill, flatten the hill, and try to square it off. And then they would surround the hill with big rocks. Woohoo! But you can see how the whole structure underneath, it's just held up on just a few points every so often, sitting on top of, in this case, it's cement. However, it was also rocks could be used. Now, this type of structure, if it was a house, there at the far corner and there at the far corner, it would extend out across the parking lot about to where the grass starts right there. What that would be surrounded with is a wooden wall, of course, and that wooden wall would contain your garden. That's this stuff here. If they were to remake a movie from the 1980s, like maybe Shinobi or American Ninja, this would be a good location to try it because it's postmodern. I mean, it's modern, but it's old. The construction materials, especially with the roof, a lot of that is entirely modern. But the floor plan, the base plan, and of course the floating floorboards, that's all, well, some aspects of it, several thousand years old, and some aspects of it are even older than that. The poles here, for example, pole houses similar to this can be found going back almost 10,000 years, which is pretty cool. 10,000 years is a long time. We also have evidence that, unless they were natural formations, there are lines of pillars. You see how they're in a row? You notice how here they're in a row? And we have evidence of stuff that may be potentially older than that. Now, where we have the issues with dating a lot of stuff like that is that it was a wooden pole and a hole in the ground. And how long did it take for that wooden post to rot away before it would allow any dirt to fill in the hole? Very interesting stuff. Anyway, we're back at the marina. That airplane, I am not licensed to operate. If I tried to operate it, I would end up in the drink, and I'd have to be a better swimmer than I am. I have some experience with toying with a helicopter. By that, I mean, I took a lesson in a helicopter up in Washington State one year, and I got to hold the controls, both the cyclic and the collective. Now, that doesn't mean that I actually flew the thing. The pilot of the helicopter, he kept control of it the entire time. He had his hands on the stick. What he did is he told me to put my hands on the stick and feel the movement. And for a couple of minutes, he just, well, everything that he did, I could feel it in the controls. Because when he moved his controls, it would move mine. And then when he told me to take over the controls, I did. I got to toy with it for about 2 minutes. Now, when he said I could take over the controls and he was going to take his hands off the stick, he had explained to me ahead of time that doesn't literally mean that he's going to take the hands off the stick. What it means is that he was going to ease up and let me take control of it, and then he would feel what I was doing. And if there was a instance where he needed to correct it immediately, he could. So I guess that's about it. That's the Washington State side. This over here is the Oregon side. That mountain's on the Nebraskan side, or not Nebraskan, Washington State side. And of course, we got a whole bunch of people with parasails in the background. I'm not sure if you can even see them. It's pretty cool stuff. When you're broke, all you can do is watch, but whatever. All right, these right here, this is what I want to build in. Not this pile here, but one similar. Go around to the side here so you can see what it actually is. You see these right here? You see them big long thorns? This is a blackberry bush. These things are excellent for protection. Now, when you get into a bramble like this, yeah, who's going to want to go digging through that to get into your house? So as long as you take some of these long things, run about 5 or 6 of them across as a door, make sure you grow some of the live stuff up them, you can actually make it so that you knock off just a few of these splines here. You knock off about a 6 to 8 inch area of these. You can do that. You can simply break them off by turning them sideways or by smacking them with a rock. Sorry. You can also cut them off. But the whole idea is, oh, here's a whole bunch of little ones. That one's scary looking, ain't it? Let's see how easy it grabs onto me. And push this way just fine, and everything is safe. Single direction. The moment I come back this direction, it grabs in immediately. It's barbed wire, and it's natural barbed wire. You can use that. You see how thick that it gets? Now imagine filling that out, all this down here, except with stuff that's got leaves on it. People don't want to trudge through that. Sure, there might be something on the other side of that, but nobody wants to go trudging through it to find out. People don't want to get close enough to start pulling pieces out to see if there's anything in there. And as you see, some of those pieces are, I'm not sure if you can see it in there. That one's almost 1.5 inches thick. I like architecture. I also like the way that the ancients built things. From the Japanese, of course, a lot of these designs, believe it or not, are Greek. That's actually a Greek design, and you guys can go ahead and laugh at me because it's likely an American-built ship, but that specific design is actually Mediterranean in origin. And that big ugly thing over there, also Mediterranean in origin. So, that right there, that ship's got a pirate flag on it. I want it. I want it. It's my bar of chocolate. Give it to me now. Alright, so now I gotta get a hold of some folks and find out how I can get one of them. Yeah. Boom. What do we say at the end of these videos? It's good to be rid of you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper. No victim left behind.